I think the keys of the success to the band Visage has been the ability to stay relevant for the many years that the band has been around.
Technology, it keeps me connected.
What technology have done for me is priceless.
I don't know how I would be able to survive without it.
If I would describe BTC into one word, I would say innovative.
Family all around.
Communications lifeblood of the Bahamas.
Food. It is as essential as air is to breathe and water is to drink. Food is life. But where does our food come from? The Bahamas has more than 2,000 farmers, but it's hardly enough to keep up with our growing population. Or is it? We traveled the nation to find out the answers to the questions everyone is asking. Can we feed ourselves?
This week, Arts and Entertainment Showcase is back with another exciting series. Come and take a journey with us. Make new discoveries, meet new friends, get your groove on, and find your inspiration. Watch Arts and Entertainment Showcase Thursday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. on the ZNS Network. Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th, when a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours. You should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television and radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and your children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and that your car has a full tank of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds of 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables and records in waterproof containers and store them on the highest floor of your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Everybody, I on TV. Look, I on TV. Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, I on television.
I don't have a TV in there.
We have Wi-Fi, though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up and start over, girl.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Present check.
Miss I just stand now, I still gotta pay?
Meanwhile, Bahamian Shenique Miller-Ubu broke a 16-year-old Commonwealth Games record as she clinched gold in the women's 200 meters final.
Watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Let's talk about love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues. This show will take you there, yeah. Taking it step by step, living your best life yet. Getting stronger and living longer. Let's figure out the questions for ya. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. When you need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation. Talk about it on the conversation. When you need a little motivation, life is better on the conversation. Tune into the conversation. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. We can go far with the conversation. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah.
You don't check for sadness. Hi, welcome to the conversation. They caught me in the middle of a sentence. Yes, welcome to the conversation. How's everybody doing? It's a beautiful, wonderful Wellness Wednesday. But today we are mixing things up a bit because, you know, if anything is happening major in the country, then we try to tap into it and bring you the information as it unfolds. And this has been unfolding really for several weeks now at high point, starting with, I think, three fires at the Clifton plant. This is BPL, of course. And then over the weekend, another fire at the Blue Hills plant affecting tens of thousands of residents in the Carmichael area, that whole sort of southern, that whole arm there for several hours. Boy, listen, people were vexed. Today, though, I'm very happy to have BPL Union, the chief, and a number of the very senior union members here joining me around the table here at the conversation to talk about what's happening and what's going on and why are tensions so high? How is this breaking down like this? In fact, if you look at one of the dailies today, the Tribune, the second lead story says, "I'll shut down the island over one manager." We're going to find out what caused and sparked that comment in a couple of minutes. But today we are looking at really the breakdown at BPL. You know, you heard about over the weekend, Union President Paul Maynard talk about the fact that the lack of maintenance is really what's hurting BPL, what's causing these fires perhaps because of no maintenance. And so he's like, the problem can be remedied though if now there's systematic shutdowns or load shedding over like the weekend period, say Saturday night, Sunday night. Give the crews opportunity to work and fix it and do proper maintenance on the equipment, and then things will be good. Now, I don't know if we're interested in hearing all that, but we're going to hear more from him and his members in a little bit when they introduce themselves officially to us and really get to the bottom of what's happening at BPL, because it's in a state of crisis. I mean, anybody can see that and admit to it. It's in a state of crisis, from the sloppiness of that row that just was just all out there for everybody to see, and now to these various power outages and fires. It really, begs the question, what is going on at BPL? And so welcome to the show today. I'm Shenique Miller. It's wonderful to have you all here tuned in. Hope you all are enjoying your day so far. And yes, Tanya, it's going to be quite exciting. I want to hear from you all and get your questions in, your phone calls in, and also YouTube audience, big hello to you. Get your questions in. I promise to put as many of them as possible to the panel here, who are here beside me and around me. And then a little bit later, after 5, we're going to shift into health and wellness and continuing to talk about childhood obesity. And we're also going to have that wonderful beauty tip for you this week coming from Spa of Eden, who every week helps us to keep our skins beautiful. And keep things looking very, very nice and rosy and glowing. Every woman is after that wonderful glowing skin. And so, yeah, Spa of Eden certainly delivers hugely on that. And so we're going to share another beauty tip with you as well. And so welcome to the show. It's good to have you all here, Paul, and your members. It's really wonderful to have, and the executives. I do apologize. These are executive members of the union, the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union. Joining me this afternoon. And so welcome to the conversation. And Paul, it's good to have you around the table. Boy, it's been a minute since I've seen you, but it's good to have you around the table.
You've been trying to get me here for forever.
For a good minute.
Yes, you did. You have been, yeah.
Yes, and how are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, no point complaining. Trying to get people to listen to you is another story. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And here we are with this situation. They're calling me a prophet, but I'm not really a prophet. I mean, if you don't do certain things, things are going to happen.
Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is something you've been agitating for now for a while. Get these things in order. Here's a good way to fix it. You ain't need to bring nobody in to tell you this or to fix. Here's the simple fix.
Yeah, this is simple. This is simple.
And
stuff.
is it really as simple as what you're saying?
Yeah, you just follow the procedures. I mean, you have it used to be when Kevin Bazin was maintenance manager back in the 90s, and those old fellas were there. Every year you follow the maintenance program, overhead, underground, and plant maintenance. And so every year, a certain time, but in the winter time is when you do a lot of your maintenance, especially with the boards, the 33 kV board, 11 kV board, the 7.2 kV boards. And what they'll do is they'll shut them down in the middle of the night and they'll do the maintenance on them. You can backfeed everybody in the wintertime because it's usually cool, and so the load demand is not that much. So they do what they have to do. It's a horrendous program you have to write to get everything isolated, etc. And the guys go ahead and do what they have to do. And that's what should be happening. That's not being done in over 7 years now.
Over 7 years.
Yeah.
So these machines, generators and all these very
not
critical...
the generators are constantly breaking down, so they're obviously always working on them.
So the very other critical machinery
there's other critical
have not been looked at in
right.
7 years.
Right. For instance, a lot of the substations, I keep telling them, a lot of substations are obsolete now. They're not even, nowhere else in the world they operate except here. And, we take a chance every day going ahead and switching on them because they can blow at any time. And that's how serious and critical the situation is. Now, I mean, because we're professionals, we do what we have to do. But I mean, we shouldn't have to be going through this nonsense. It should be that, they are putting the proper stuff in place and keeping up with the technology. And that's the problem. We need to keep up with technology.
How far back, if you were to say years, how far back is the technology, the equipment, the operations at BPL?
30.
What?
30 years.
30 years behind? Mm-hmm. No wonder we can't keep the lights on?
Right, 30 years behind.
Welcome to the conversation.
The newest substation we have is Bahamas.
Bahama.
Right. Now that's up to date.
modern technology, being able to sufficiently light that property and keep the lights on there.
Yeah. But they paid for that.
Well, you have to. Well, obviously you have to do that.
Right.
Yeah. People expect us to. If you wonder where VAT gone, put it there.
Yeah. But they did it. But what needs to happen is we need to upgrade all of our substations, and they are put in to have them done. Now, the chairman has said to me that he's seeing that people are putting in to have these stuff done. So obviously he's going to have to step up his game to find the money to get it done. But it has to get done. You have to upgrade the T&D system, as well as the generators at the power station.
Absolutely, because you're tired. I know I am, and the country is tired of hearing this generator went down, the next one went down. That's what there's, and I know you're saying that because they're always going down, that means that they're being maintained. No, but it's vexing to hear about generators for all these years.
Yeah, but for 4 years now, since I got elected in 2014, I've always been saying all we have to do is change the equipment and the fuel and upgrade the T&D system, and we'll be fine at BC. That's all. That all has to be done.
Let me meet your executive members. Introduce them to me, please.
This is my Secretary General, Astrid Bodie, and my Chief Shop Steward, Antonio Dane.
Hi, Astrid and Antonio. Hello. Welcome to the conversation. It's wonderful to have you both in. Have you seen it like this at BPL ever?
No.
At this critical point?
No, this is the most critical. This is the worst.
What makes it the worst? What are the conditions that have come together to make it the worst that you've seen it? And come a little closer, Antonio, to the mic so we can really get your audio clear. And pull it up a little bit if you have to.
Yeah, well, right now power goes off a lot. This goes off excessively. There I stand. My light hardly ever went off because of where I was situated. Right? You know how I on a different whatever. But now my light always off.
Oh, so you all be suffering too?
Oh, yes. We always was suffering, but
no, because we get the impression for hard things going off and hard things go off. We feel as though the BPL people can't be suffering.
No, well, she's on a system that if the engine trips, her power goes off automatically to avoid the whole island going off. That's the kind of system. So hers go off. So any trip of the engine, her power will go off.
Right.
And once the engine comes back on, then they turn it back on.
Automatically come back on.
But it's constant.
But it's a constant thing right now.
And that rarely happens, you say, for you in your area?
No, it happens a lot now.
No, now. But I'm saying you say previously that rarely happened.
It rarely happens in my area. I could have said, oh, God, thank you, Lord, my light don't go off. Then if it do cut off, it'll cut off for a few minutes, then it'll come right back on.
And that's another thing, these marathon sessions.
Now it's off.
It's scary. It's scary to think about when the power goes off of when it'll come on. Is that a part of the issue now that we have to be like, almost like, oh my God, when will this come on?
Well, Saturday night was a situation where the board burned down. Now you got to realize that it took the fire department about 3 hours to get the fire out because the fire was contained inside the board. So they had to get it out properly, sufficient for us to do what we had to do. And once that happened, you had to wait for the board to cool down. Then you had to make a decision on how you were going to go ahead and do what you had to do to get the people back on, because it's a heavy loaded. It was a heavy loaded situation, and you had to make sure that the other half of the board was fine before you go ahead and do what you had to do. Put a restore supply. So it took from, I think it went off about 8 o'clock, and the first set of people came on, I think about 10:30. About 10:30, and then the last set came on around 11, just 11:30.
11:30. You mean AM? Huh?
AM, yeah, that morning, yeah.
Yeah, more than 12 hours.
Yes. Well, I mean that was a special instance, but I mean the point is, if the board had been maintained like it was supposed to be, it probably wouldn't happen. And that's the problem. The problem is,
and this is a part of the issue of the 7+ years of lack of maintenance.
Yeah.
That's a part that comes under that.
Right.
Don't forget now, Paul. Remember when we had the board explode the last time?
Yeah, the 33 kV board. Something happened there. But I said then, I kept saying that, you need to do you maintain the board.
You got to maintain those boards.
But but as I said, it's the summer now and the load is kind of high, so it's hard to. A board shutdown usually takes minimum 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours minimum. So if you got to make sure that you have people on, and if you're not able to switch the load to keep them on, to maintain them, that becomes a problem. So usually it's best done in the winter. You pick the coldest nights in the winter and you do it then that's when you do it.
You talked about, Paul, the fact that the maintenance and you need to bring people on if necessary by contract to get this done. It's very critical service that must be done in order to avoid the load shedding and the power outages, that kind of thing. Is BPL then short-staffed?
In certain areas, yeah. In certain areas, they are short. For instance, where we had the problem over the past couple of days in consumers, they had one girl. She was the only one who didn't take the package because she hasn't been there long, so she was an entry-level clerk, and so she's up to speed and she was doing a job herself. It's only her at the mall, servicing all the customers who wants to have new services.
All the supervisor's job left.
Right.
She's all the supervisors' job basically she doing.
That she doing everything.
Because they were senior clerks.
Right.
That left.
Right.
And she's like the entry level person. So she's basically the only one in that
Now
area.
what should have happened?
Toting the load.
What should have happened there was they should have kept at least one of the girls. Right? They should have kept them and said, listen, we need you to hold on until you could train someone, and then in probably 6 months to a year you can go.
Was that done? Was this separation done hastily without thought?
No, not really, because in generation it was done properly. The problem was in uptown, people did the separation on their feelings. The managers did it on their feelings. If they didn't like you, well, you was out. The hell with it. And they didn't realize that this day was coming, and that's the problem. And that's basically the problem. It should have been done properly. It should have been that in consumers especially in some areas in customer service in the main office, they should never let that amount of people go. It should have been phased out. It should have been a phased out going. You can really you had 2 years to downsize all these people. The agreement was 2 years, June 2020. So you could have let, if you had 300, you could have let 30 go at a time. Every so often you let 30 go.
And that's what I'm saying. Was it done hastily? Obviously, there's no thought to it. You said 2 years, 2020.
Right.
It's 2018.
Yeah, right.
It seems like everybody just made a hastily exit, and now one person is managing all of this, and nobody can take on all that load because it will be sloppy.
When you look at the problems that's going on, it's not just generated from the maintenance aspect of it. It's also now it becomes a moral issue with the employees themselves. Because now
in terms of
the moral aspect of it is the way they feel. Come on, we have a big load that we taking now. For one, there's no appreciation. For two, you understand? You're being bombarded by the managers who you have to report to. Within that sense, I'm not comfortable. I mean, I come to work every day. I have a job to do. I have responsibilities. So therefore, I must appear on these people's job. But now, it ain't like I about to go above and beyond no more because of it. You understand me? So you got to look at how a person feels within themselves. If you have an employee comfortable and working in a good work, they're in a good working environment.
Oh, so morale is low and just everything is.
Well, especially in Iris's area. I mean, in the customer service area, morale is very low. It was always low, but it's even lower than low now. And nobody wants to work with her, and that's just the way it is.
Manager from hell.
Is nobody wants to work with her, and that's the problem. And I mean, you see, the thing about this, right? The thing about this whole thing is, on the Clinton Watson, this been happening for years and years, and we've been trying to get it dealt with. But, I see Bays and Endpoint. Bays and Endpoint was, well, Peter Rutherford ain't doing nothing. Well, what I get in it for, and that's the boss, right? But you see, the point is, right, that you have to step in as the general manager and have you can't have your staff being demoralized. That's number one. Number two, on the Clinton Watson show, I bought it up at the end, and I shot across the bow. Well, you would have thought, right, that they would have said, okay, you know what, let me call her in and let's get her with the program, because if he making noise now, this ain't gonna stop, okay? And you would have thought that, what, she'd have thought to herself, well, you know what, let me behave. Oh, no. She complained see, her boss calling me up and say, he texts me and say, oh, it was a good show, but, you are wrong for mentioning Iris's name and this, that, and the next. Try to make me out to be the bad guy. So I say, okay, you can see, this can come up again, all right? Next day, her MP called me, and he said, her friend, the MP, she has a friend in the government, her friend, he said, well, you really shouldn't do this to Iris, blah, blah, blah. I said, listen, you can see. She said, you're a liar now. I said, no problem. But you can see, different. Now, you would have thought after that, she would have behaved, right? Oh, no, no, no. The arrogance. They have this God complex, a lot of managers.
So it's a lot of interference, and then managers...
Right, they have this God complex.
Yeah,
right? And they believe that, okay, now I got protection now.
There's no good symmetry between managers and staff
right.
and that kind of thing.
And I got protection now. And so, she knows she routed out again.
But why is this affecting service? Why is this affecting keeping the power on? I mean, for example, Patrice Monroe says, we really need a solution to this vexing problem. Let's talk more action, man.
Yeah.
Hello to you, Arthur, watching from Governor's Harbor Airport. Debbie's watching from Philadelphia, says, yes, good show. It's time we get it right in the Bahamas. Absolutely. Big hello to you, Joanne and Tanya.
Shenique,
that's
listen,
not affecting.
That's not affecting. They're going to get power, right? They're going off. But listen, this whole situation with the power going off, this has been going on now from time immemorial. Right? Now, in 2012, when the PLP came to power, they decided, okay, we can have electricity reform. Fine. They got the situation ready, and they had a bunch of people put in these RFPs, and they did, and they had some very good companies, right? The problem is, you see, they had Deepak Bhatnagar in there and KPMG in there, and they were doing what they wanted to do, and so they brought in Power Secure. But I never thought that Power Secure would be the one to be picked. But the PM called me, and Clinton Minister, who was the manager of the Dingham Union, and said, who was the president of the Managers Union, and said, listen, this is what we got to go with. Bhatnagar and them came to cabinet, and they say this is what we got to go with. So, okay, this is what we got to go with. And I said to him then, I said, Prime Minister, listen, this is the wrong choice, right? You need to bring in a company that'll come in and change the equipment and change the fuel, and BC will be fine.
Right.
Right? You need to get out of this bunker C, you need to get out of this ADO. We need to get out of this ADO because it's very expensive. He said, well, you know what? This company said they can do it, so I need you to cooperate. No problem, okay. We don't be the bad guy, so we cooperated, right? But we know it was going to go south, all right? Now, the new government comes in, okay, fine. I got to give Donnell Osborne credit because she came there and she picked a company, right? No one ever done that before. She says, you know what? We going with this crew, Shell. Okay, whatever you want to say about them, it don't make a difference. The fact of the matter is, in a year's time, she picked a crew. And so she said, okay, now Shell is supposed to come in, this is my understanding of the deal. Shell was supposed to come in and build a power station, all right? And BC wasn't supposed to even getting it because BC cannot afford to build a new power station, right? The cost is so great, they cannot afford it, all right? People talk about the legacy debt, but the legacy debt is the fact that they're supposed to pay the debt off now, what we have, and also it was supposed to pay for the staff to exit and pay the pension debt off and stuff. Because I think the pension debt is in shortfall by over $100 million. That's right. That's how much the BC owes on the pension, our pensions. Okay. So we now here. Okay, fine. They're going through this the situation with the change in the boards and this, that,
right,
that. Now, you know, I wouldn't do it that way, but it is what it is. They do what they have to do. I ain't questioning the government because they're the politicians. My mission is to make sure that my membership get the best possible deal because I told them that I could not see reciprocating engines coming back there because I want my members to have the best possible training on the best possible equipment so they can be certified and they can go and they have a certification that they can take with them if they leave or whatever. The point is they can go anywhere in the world, and that is on the new modern day LNG, propane, whatever equipment. So this is what I was expecting, and this is what I'm still expecting. All right, and so this is what I intend to have. This is what I need to see happen.
We're going to take a first break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk to Paul Maynard and his executive, Astrid and Antonio, about this comment in today's Daily. Why this threat? Where did this threat come from? What's happening? I can imagine who this manager is because you all already perhaps talked about her. But the point is, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's happening at BTC and also BPL, rather. And I'll tell you this. People are just trying to say, man, listen, man, you all flipping, grow up and deal with what y'all dealing with. Keep the lights on. That's all we into. Keep the doggone lights on. Stay exactly where you are. The conversation comes back right after this.
Real change starts now with the upcoming public...
G&M Appliances on Robinson Road has all your air conditioning needs this summer, like the Comfort Star 9,000 and 12,000 BTU 13 SEER for just $3.99. Or how about the Comfort Star 18,000 BTU just $5.99? Or how about the Comfort Star 24,000 or 36,000 at the lowest prices possible? We also carry a wide selection of air conditioning parts such as fans, compressors, filters, capacitors, or any part you may need. So, call today at 328-2083. We're located on Robinson Road.
At Miden's Wholesale, the concept is simple. The more you buy, the more you save. Yes, the more you buy, the more you save. This means that at Miden's Wholesale, when you buy in the same group 3 products, you get 15% off, 6 products, 20% off, and 12 products or more, 33% off. Miden's provides you with the largest selection of pantyhose, socks, t-shirts, school supplies, underwear, and much, much more. You can also sign up to be a reseller of BTC and Digicel Top-Up and to save 33% on your purchase at Miden's Wholesale. We also ship to the Family Islands, and that's not all, because when you shop at Miden's, you can pay your utility bills, send MoneyGram, RIA transfer, and purchase tickets from Sky Bahamas and Western Air. So visit Miden's Wholesale today at any of 3 locations, East Street South, Robinson Road, or Lower Bogey, Luthra. Call 325-4434 or 676-4435.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th, when a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours. You should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television and radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and your children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and that your car has a full tank of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds of 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables and records in waterproof containers and store them on the highest floor of your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
I lived in fear for my life. I lived in fear for my children. I lived in fear of how I'd provide for them. I thought that he would change when he promised he would, and I forgave him every time he said that he was sorry. I became devalued as a human being until one day I ceased to exist as one.
Let's talk. Call the Bahamas Crisis Center's free 24-hour hotline at 328-0922. Sometimes a conversation can change a life.
There's trouble in this land. Well, then, oh Lord have mercy. Well, in the year of 1958, the 12th of January, about 8 a.m. hotel workers strike, beginning at the Emerald Beach, and it went to Balmore.
When you get home, you better go sleep. That's all I can say.
Welcome back to the Welcome back to the conversation. Today, on a Healthy Wellness, Wealthy Wednesday, I am talking to BPL's chief, along with his executive members, the Secretary General and
Chief Shop Steward.
And the Chief Shop Steward, Paul Maynard, Astrid Bodie, and Antonio Dean. It's really good to have you all here. People just want to hear from somebody, because we ain't hearing no explanation, nobody, nothing from no one in some authority. So it's good to have you here, trying to shed some light on exactly what the issues are that BPL is faced with and what continues to be the nagging problems. And so what we're understanding, chief among the problems, is the fact that there's no maintenance. Everything has been allowed to kind of just deteriorate over the last several years. And so now this is what we're faced with. This, as Paul described in an article a few days ago, it's reached crisis point. Crisis point. And what is the one thing, Paul, to trigger this island? You know, because the scary thing is, and you said this in an article I saw, you don't know when it shut off. If at one point it'll be a real challenge getting it back on.
Well, you know, like I said, I can tell everyone, you know, we're professionals and we work tirelessly to do what we have to do. The point is, though, I mean, you know, they need to find the money and the resources to do what they have to do. You know, they're discussing going back to reciprocating engines again. I mean,
what is that? Explain it.
Reciprocating engines are like your car engine. It's an engine with pistons, etc. And the modern world now, they're dealing with turbines, whether it's LNG turbines, propane turbines. They have more modern, less heat rate. The engines are more efficient, and they'll run until Christ come, as to say it is.
Well, what is the challenge, Paul and Astrid and Antonio? Is it too expensive? Are we not directing the money where it needs?
It's not costing. Remember now, it's not. People are offering to do this to the government for free.
Who people? I know you. Does the government know about this?
Yeah, of course. There are companies that are offering to do it for free.
You mean to relieve us of all of this power outages, etc.?
That's correct. All the government has to do is all BPL board has to do is agree, and they will come in, do what they have to do, and they sell it at a certain amount. All they have to do is agree on what rate it's going to be sold, what electricity is going to be sold outside. Simple.
No, it got to be more than that, Paul. You all ain't know about that. See, what you all don't know is exactly what the real deal is, because it cannot.
It's very simple. I mean, they have a number of companies that have made offers, etc. The point is, you know, I think that some people, the thinking is that let BEC go ahead and get the loan themselves and do it themselves, which is the wrong way to go about it. We can't afford it. And
that's not the way business is done nowadays, eh?
No.
Business is done in sort of this what is being proposed.
That's correct.
A network. You come together, let's do this.
My main concern is once my members are going to be trained to run the plants, I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. I mean, we need to get to the point where the old lady could afford to pay for her bill without having to decide whether she can feed her children
or pay the bill.
She's going to pay the bill.
Why the dick is the bill so high? Because of what you say with the fuel that's being used and the preferred fuel, which is outdated, as you've already said, and Stone Age, 30 years back.
Well, see, the problem is, remember now, the problem is, you know, it's always in this country. It's always the special interest groups that hold us hostage, and that's the problem. We have special interest groups that are holding us hostage. It's simple as that.
Margaret Elizabeth, who do I go to first, please? Hello, Mr. Raming. Thank you very much for calling into the show today. Welcome to the conversation. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Raming. Are you there? Jeremy, thank you very much for holding. Welcome to the conversation. Yes. The fuel charge is 100 and the bill is 100 and something.
Yeah. The charges is way more than the bill, so it means you're thinking now why you have the AC on and the fridge and all them things ain't burning nothing. I realize the fridge and all the rest of things ain't burning nothing. It's the fuel. It's the fuel that they putting on people and with screwing the people in to try and hold the bill. And every month, because you can't pay out the bill of hell. And the second you get all the rest of the bills to pay. So when the next bill comes, then the fuel charges, they put up on the fuel charges, then the bill go back up to $407. So it's a balance. You balance every month just to keep this bill down.
Yes.
And that's bad, man. I mean, it's bad. You're supposed to limit your life just to, you and your baby, them hot. 45 laying in your house, dead hot, just to try and save money. So you can pay your lectures. That's bad. That may be supposed to be over with that, man. And that's people fed up with that now.
Yes, I agree, Jeremy. I agree. You want to respond?
Yeah, the thing about it is Jeremy, is what is happening now is Blue Hills Power Station is supposed to be our peak station, which means that it only comes on at night and when we really need extra power. What's supposed to happen is the engines at Clifton Pier is supposed to be carrying the island, and Blue Hills comes on when it's needed. It's called a peak station. The problem is Blue Hills is not a base station, and Clifton Pier gives us what they could give us. And that is our problem. Blue Hills runs off ADO, which is automatic diesel oil. And diesel is more expensive than gas. And now you see what the problem is.
So the thing with it, not to cut you off, the thing with it, I had my shop 10 years ago, and I was filing the fuel charges 10 years ago. And nothing has changed. I don't, nothing changed completely. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. I mean,
yeah, the cost of diesel is high. Right, the cost of diesel is high.
Jeremy, thank you very, very much. And you're right, something needs to be done. In fact, everybody, Bunny Stirrup, watching on the Facebook Live, says something needs to be done. Agnes Ferguson says, good afternoon, Shenique and guests, especially Paul Maynard. BPL is sickening now, and the average consumer are being robbed. Paul, please explain to us what has to happen to get a first world plant up and running.
I just told you. All they have to do is ink the deal, and they'll be there.
Agnes, I don't know if you heard that, but see, Agnes, here's what's happening. Paul said there are offers, not an offer. There are offers on the board at BPL to say, listen, we will come in and get rid of this bunker C fuel, all the stuff for you, give us
propane and LNG.
Yes, and the equipment that is now. But everybody just sitting on wondering what the next person could do. Meantime, as Jeremy just called in and said, his bill is one something and the fuel charges is hundreds. So he paying but $500 a month for power. That's the foolishness that's happening.
That's basically the size of what's going on.
Yeah, that's the foolishness. Yeah. And it's stupid. You can't, I mean, who running these places? And that nobody can make a decision.
But as I said, right, the poor people, you got to look at it. It's bigger than politics, actually. It's the special interest groups. It don't make a difference who in power. The special interest groups are the ones that's your problem right there.
They control everything. That's yes. Correct. In fact, here's Jason says he's watching from Exuma. It doesn't matter how much they change management, nothing will change, and the people are left to suffer, especially during summer and hurricane season. Hello, Lolita. Thank you very much for holding. Welcome to the conversation.
Shenique, and hi to your guest.
Hello.
Yes, my question is directed to Mr. Maynard. Did BPL, the former board, the company, did they have a plan? And if so, their plan, was it discarded, or they're using the BPL plan? And if BPL had a plan that they had alternative energy in the plan, and if the company has been fired, why is BC still called BPL? I like to listen.
That's confusing.
No, I understand what she's saying. She's saying that the board under Donna Laws, but did they have a plan? I understand. The plan was for Shell to come in and build a plant. The Shell to get people to build a plant, to build an LNG plant. A modern LNG plant. Mm-hmm. That was what was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they're sticking to that plant, I do not know.
Talking about power secure.
Yeah,
the whole management aspect of it.
BPL.
Right.
That's why she want to know why we still BPL.
And then BEC at the same time.
Yeah. No, we're not BEC.
No, we're not BEC anymore. BPL.
Oh, fully BPL.
Because they changed.
They can't take our name.
Right. Because they changed the Act of Parliament and everything else. So yeah, we're BPL now.
It's still BPL.
But I mean, they just need to decide, listen, this is where we're going, and then go that way.
Here, Keisha Wright on Facebook Live says, my light bill is more than my mortgage this month, and the usage in our home has not changed.
Again, the cost of fuel.
Mm-hmm. They need to understand that.
They need to understand that we are running our peak load station as a base load station.
You don't have to add nothing. You don't have to take nothing. Now, if you take something away, it'll go down. But
yeah. The point is, if Clifton Pier was up to speed, totally and absolutely up to speed, it'll be on bunker C. So it'll be less. It'll be way less because it'll be on bunker C, which is a cheap fuel. But the point is that we have
diesel
myriads of problems out there, and it can take hundreds of millions of dollars to fix, and ain't no point going through that. you might as well go to your new technology.
Might as well. Might as well. It sounds so much easier and cost the corporation nothing, the company nothing. Agnes says, listen, so here's an option. Should we vote Mr. Maynard in as the man in charge because we need our burden to be eased? That's all people want. That's all you understand. That's all people trying to say. They don't care who wear what, how they wear it, which manager has a good attitude, which one doesn't. What happened with the bill? The bill,
listen, as I said,
and the consistency of providing power.
But the new chairman has to, on his first instance, and we had a meeting with him, and my executives could tell you, we told him, we said, listen, everybody in this country count on you because you got to do this now. You can't, it ain't no wait till next month and the month after. You have to do this now because everybody out there is complaining about this bill. Because it's a mortgage. The bill is and she's right, the bill is a mortgage.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's higher than the mortgage, and you know, they just got to make a decision to deal with it. That's as simple as that.
Yes. I can't even turn my air conditioner on in the night because
supposed to be able to live in comfort.
I can't be giving them back the money they paid me to slave for.
Yeah, well.
So I suffer. Fan, ceiling fan, stand fan.
Yeah.
Air conditioner will murder me.
Blowing the hot air around. Hello to you, Tommy, calling from Crooked Island. Welcome to the conversation. Are you there, Tommy?
Okay, yes. Ma'am, I want to put something to Mr. Maynard. I understand the government trying to terrorize Rocket Island. But why they can't terrorize outlets from Crooked Island and the rest of the island? Couldn't Mr. Maynard give me another reason besides them to do that to the whole Bahamas is going to upset the whole economy from collecting tax collecting money from BPL or what do you call it, Big Power Lake Company? Thank you very much. Please answer that, sir.
The Power Secure had a whole plan in place to, I think, start solarizing Exuma, Abaco, Eleuthera, and I think Long Island. Those were the first four they were going to go with. Yeah, they were the first four that they were gonna go with, and I don't know what this board is gonna do, but they were supposed to mix it up because you can put solar on some of the farming islands. The problem with Nassau is you need a whole load of property to put solar panels in, because every megawatt you get is six acres you need. To put the thing in. Now, I saw they had this thing with putting it in the sea, etc., and doing that. But I mean, it's nothing wrong with solar, but I mean the battery pack that you need to use the power at night is expensive. The batteries are very expensive. Now, I mean, you can use in industrial places. They use solar all day, and because it invites the power, it invites the sun straight to AC. So that's fine. But at night, you don't have the power because the sun's gone down. That's the problem with it.
Yes. We are going to take a break right now. Bunny says, look like Mr. Maynard is the plug to get BPL in order. Well, he said nobody's listening to him, though. We're going to take a break and come back with more with BPL, the union president, and his executive members right after this break. Stay close.
Are you having troubles with your...
This week, Arts and Entertainment Showcase is back with another exciting series. Come and take a journey with us. Make new discoveries, meet new friends, get your groove on, and find your inspiration. Watch Arts and Entertainment Showcase Thursday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. on the ZNS Network.
It is as essential as air is to breathe and water is to drink. Food is life. But where does our food come from? The Bahamas has more than 2,000 farmers, but it's hardly enough to keep up with our growing population. Or is it? We traveled the nation to find out the answers to the questions everyone is asking. Can we feed ourselves?
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry. putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Labor Day by Brother Hep. Thank you very much, Margaret Elizabeth. My special guest this first hour, BPL President Paul Maynard, his executive members, Astrid Bodie and Antonio Dean, here talking about the real state of affairs at BPL and why the power continues to be inconsistent. Mainly, the issue is that maintenance is an issue, that there has not been proper maintenance for well over 7 years. That's right, 7 years. Has not been proper maintenance there at BP. You're in my short. Sit down quick. Yes, thanks, Astrid. Thank you. Yes, and so it has not been maintenance for well over 7 years. You heard Paul and his members say, his executive members, and just a number of issues. Then, to make things a little worse, here it is that people are very frustrated to learn that there's a quick fix to this. If the board at BPL would simply consider a number of offers before it, Paul, offers that can really remedy this situation like that.
Well, I think that Shell said that okay, we'll put the power plant in, and we'll give you, I think it was 120 million, I think that was the figure, to deal with your T&D side, because the T&D side needs to be dealt with, okay? The T&D side definitely needs to be dealt with as well. That's T&D is transmission and distribution.
Okay, because some of these terms we don't know about, yes.
That's all the substations, etc.
Oh, okay.
We'll give you 100 million to upgrade, 120 million to upgrade those.
Right, and all of which are in need of upgrading.
Right, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Fortress was basically the same thing, except that I think Fortress's price was a bit higher. I think that Shell had engaged the Caribbean Partners Group or whatever to do this. But the point is, it's there. They have other offers from other people as well to put in area derivatives and to go to switch to propane to LNG or LNG right out. The point is, it can get done. It can get done. But like I said, you got these special interest groups. Now, as for the headlines today.
Yeah, because I want to know how you threaten, Paul, how dare you threat that you will shut down the island.
Listen, Shenique.
You don't think we've had enough? You don't think we've suffered enough?
Shenique, listen. One thing about me, right? I consider myself to be the most reasonable union president in this country today. Right? And Astrid can attest to that. Because I am very calm and calculated about what I do and when I do it. I've been putting up with this nonsense since I've been elected, over and repeatedly. It's come to the point that, we can no longer sit by and allow our members to be abused. You just can't do that. You just can't just talk to members how you want to talk to them, just how you feel that day. You want to talk to them bad, and so you talk to them bad, and you say what you want to them.
So it's an unprofessional work environment as well.
Very much so. And that's the problem. That's a problem.
I mean, what is? I mean, Jesus, can't we get it fixed at one level of BPL?
Well,
non-professionalism, managers who don't know how to treat staff and talk to staff and be professional.
Well,
and just allegedly,
I have to say that our HR department is extremely proactive, because they went down on 2 occasions to deal with our staff, but 3 occasions to deal with our staff. And I guess they tired as well. They had enough of the foolishness. Now, what happened was today, the government sent their man down there, right, to say, okay, what's going on? Let's have an investigation to the situation, right? And so, you know, he came in there and he was gung-ho, and when we sat him down, we talked to him, and then he went and he actually saw for himself what's really going on. He started talking to the staff. He leave with his hair eaten. So
it's that pronounced. Whatever these issues are,
that's correct.
They cannot be hidden to the point that a stranger had to come in and observe the same thing that everybody's been complaining about.
Let me tell you what happens with this manager. What happens with her is this. She would talk bad to her staff, tell them anything that comes to mind. You hear me? When I said anything, I mean anything. She's not professional at all. She have this attitude whereas if you dare answer her, when she is speaking to you like a dog, you would be in problem. She shouts at you. We had instances where we had members said that she's beating on the desk. And okay, like Paul said, HR does their job. HR would go and HR would deal with the situation and find out what's going on. Now it goes above HR. When it gets there, it just die. It just die in the wind. Nothing
is done.
And this was going on for years and years. And I told Paul, I said, Paul, me and you, we really have to blame ourselves in a way, you know, because we got so many reports on her. But, you know, to work to have harmony in the workplace and all that, we reported her over and over, but nothing was done. What we should have done was follow it up more aggressively. Now it's gotten to a point whereas enough is enough. You know, we just can't have her dealing with these staff like this no more. Somebody needs to intervene. She needs to be dealt with. And another thing also, I don't know what they're going to do because, number one, and every place in BPL, you have to deal with staff. And everybody do not want to work with her. I don't know, she may have 1 or 2 people who want to work along with her, but when you talk about a staff, 98.9%, they don't want to be under her.
Are present staff members being required to work additional hours to make up the slack?
On the weekend, some people on the weekend. So in some areas, in the critical areas,
Because are they being paid for this or what? Because
of course,
someone is asking about, you know, what about us? And it wasn't finished, but I'm thinking he's trying to say who's asked to work more than 9 hours or 9 hours and more, that kind of thing.
They would get paid. Nobody works for free in BPL.
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody works for free. If you work over your time, you always get
overtime.
Listen, I would love to have you all back on whenever there's something kick up. Let's do it again. The hour went by too fast. We will only really be able to sort of and I figured this would happen, and I see we have phone calls holding. I can't get to those calls. I do apologize. It's a second before the 5 o'clock news update. But thank you so much, Antonio Dean, Astrid Bodie, and Paul Maynard. It's wonderful. I look forward to having you all around the table once again.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Stay exactly where you are. Oh, my pleasure. Stay exactly where you are. The news at 5 is straight ahead.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not necessarily the views of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is ZNS News Update, live at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Here's what's making news at this hour. The government has taken the legislative step to ensure that the financial deal and remaining balance of payment is made for the Grand Lucine Resort in Grand Bahama. A resolution seeking to borrow $35 million to guarantee the loan to Lucine Renewal Holdings Limited was tabled in the House today by Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquest. Meanwhile, the economy of the nation's second city has still not yet rebounded, and unemployment numbers remain a major concern for officials at the Department of Labor. Director of Labor John Pinder telling our news team today that the lack of skilled workers, a gap in the skills bank, and low-waged salaries offered for key positions could be the reasons for the increase in unemployment numbers. And road users in Eastern New Providence can expect some delays in their commute for the next month or so as officials of the Ministry of Public Works engage in a road paving exercise. We'll tell you exactly where this exercise will be taking place. Details of those stories and more coming up in our 2-hour national newscast starting in less than an hour at 6 p.m. We hope you tune in then. I'm Altaviz Munnings as always. Thanks for watching.
Comedy from the day I was born, and I look up and I saw who my parents was. I know my life is gonna be interesting.
The Bahamian people inspire me, like 100%.
I think the keys of the success to the band Visage has been the ability to stay relevant for the many years that the band has been around.
Technology, it keeps me connected.
What technology have done for me is priceless.
I don't know how I would be able to survive without it.
If I would describe BTC into one word, I would say innovative.
Family all around. Communications lifeblood of the Bahamas.
Every day. G&M Appliances on Robinson Road has all your air conditioning needs this summer, like the Comfort Star 9,000 and 12,000 BTU 13 SEER for just $3.99. Or how about the Comfort Star 18,000 BTU just $5.99? Or how about the Comfort Star 24,000 or 36,000 at the lowest prices possible? We also carry a large selection of air conditioning parts such as fans, compressors, filters, capacitors, or any part you may need. So, call today at 328-2083. We're located on Robinson Road.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the Northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, we're covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
As an artist, I travel all over the world, and I find inspiration all around me. In the people, and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south, and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels, free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
Let's talk talk about love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues. The show will take you there, yeah. Taking it step by step, living your best life yet. Getting stronger and living longer. Let's figure out the questions for ya. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. When you need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation. Talk about it on the conversation. When you need a little motivation, life is better on the conversation. Tune into the conversation. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. We can go far with the conversation. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah.
Taking this thing back to the islands, y'all. Come on. Bahama Islands. Come on. Woo. Yeah. Come on. I am a true Bahamian, and Abaco's my native land. I want you people to understand, I am a proud Bahamian. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. We go into Inutra. We go into Inagua. We go into Exoma. We go into Meguana. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. When I'm there in Bimini, the people are so friendly. When I'm there in Chokey, the people treat you nice and sweet. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. If you're born there, you're born there. Tell them that you're born there. Come on, come on.
Makeup there, Natalia there. No.
Welcome back to the conversation, guys. Listen, we are shifting gears now. Of course, the first hour we had the union chief and his executive team at BPL here, Paul Maynard and his team. Today we're going to shift gears because, of course, we talk about health and wellness and beauty. Yes, that's right, beauty, 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 beauty. I told you about that skincare tip. Well, you're going to hear about it firsthand for yourself. Meantime, though, today's show is brought to you by Spa of Eden, USA Flea Markets, Almighty Computers, S&M Uniforms, GM Appliances, Ministry of Finance, Miden's Wholesale. Absolutely. Thank you all so much for coming on board the conversation and supporting the show. It's really good to have you all on board, and it's wonderful to welcome you each day and to have people just know about what you do. So listen, let's jump right in. I know we have limited time. We have limited time here today, and we're going to jump in with the beauty tip because I'll tell you, people look forward to this beauty tip. Lakira Thompson at around this time, and I'll tell you who is the biggest proponent right here. Tanya.
Very good.
The beauty tip, and if I am not mistaken, you're about to tell us about something that is quite unique.
Oh yes, definitely, and I would say it's a little uncomfortable for some persons to talk about. That's why even the more I said, you know what, I'm going to just bring it out in the open today. A lot of persons are concerned about the butt, and not just lifting the butt. You hear about the Brazilian butt and this and that, but hey, we've been having some persons with butt acne. And
now, what is butt acne? Explain that.
That's
is
one
that
of the
ingrown
terms.
hairs? What is that?
Well, it's not acne per se. People talk about it and call it acne, but it's really just an inflammation in the follicles, and it could happen because of a few things, and we're going to touch on them today. First of all, the inflammation starts because of some friction there in the butt area. Some persons are hairy. You have a lot of hairs on the butt area and the back area. And so therefore that hair, especially in the summertime, I've been noticing this a lot, or hearing about it a lot. Persons asking, I think I need to ask you about something that's concerning me. And you'll see the inflammation on the butt, and you have these it starts off with the little red little papules on the hip area. And if you don't treat it properly, it could lead into a bacterial infection, and you can get little boils, or they look like little hard cystic breakouts. And a lot of times in talking with persons, asking them about their regimen, what they've been doing, sometimes it's as simple as leaving on clothes that you work out in. You work out, you're tired, and you just need to catch yourself before you even hit the shower. And so you're leaving on the clothes for a long period of time, and that heat, and the
fact that the clothes may be a little damp and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Some bacteria in there, because sweat, of course. The toxins coming out. And so you get the breakouts. And so to counteract that, let me say, when you work out, if you're the person that's gets a bit irritated in that area, you need to take a quick shower. A cool down shower.
Oh,
so you get home,
so
or
when
even some gyms have a shower.
Right, exactly. Some gyms like Club One Fitness Center, by the way, thank you very much, one of our sponsors today. Once you have done sweating and working out, get out of the very confining clothes, the confining damp clothes.
Yes.
Go and take a shower.
Yes. Another reason this can happen is in menopause. Some persons, those hot flashes, and on top of that, they have a lot of hair in that area again. And so you're heating up, the skin is sensitive in that area, becoming a little irritated from the hot flashes, and you're sweating, and your clothes are getting damp, wet, because of course you're sweating all over. And so you need to get out of those clothes, but sometimes you can't get out of the clothes. And so you'll have the inflammation start from that.
But this is nice even just for people wanting to, there are times of the year you want to wear short clothing, or if you have your husband as a woman, or even a man, but as a woman in particular, that you have your husband, you want to look nice for him. You want to be smooth. You want your skin to be not as you describe it, that it can get to that point, just for beauty purposes as well.
You're so right, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because you don't want to wait until it's bikini season time to work on this area. This is something that you need to sort of prevent from happening by, like I say, taking the measures.
Yes.
And so when bikini time comes, or you're a little cut shorts, so some persons even go with the G-string on the beach, and so you want the hips looking right. And then another thing, you don't want it to stay there long, because it could scar you. You let those pimples stay there too long, the bacteria stays in there, it dries, but it hardens. And so now another thing, you'll have persons say, man, I put on this pants, but you see these little dimples here and there from the previous breakouts that dried up, and the skin just isn't smooth anymore. So I treat it the same way as I'm treating facial.
So you can have a butt facial?
Oh, yes.
What is this? You can have a butt facial. So you can be intentionally pretty.
Definitely. All over.
All over. All over.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Listen, I need to book my appointment. I need me a butt facial. I need airy facial.
We do microdermabrasion on the butt. Yeah. And so you have persons too, you have dancers who wear, certain outfits that expose certain areas, and they want to look flawless too.
Of course, Lakira, you are very right. You are very right.
I just wanted to bring out the secret today.
Yeah, and that's the secret. You see, for example, you can't keep Kim Kardashian out of a thong bikini.
Okay.
She will, she is scrubbed from head to toe. But the point about it is beauty is intentional, and nobody is born flawless. Yeah. I mean, very few. The thing is, they work at it, and they do the necessary treatments to achieve that look.
And definitely, even if you're flawless, you want to maintain Yeah. I have persons come to me sometimes, and not that they have big issues, you know, but they want to maintain and, you know, enhance what they have. So that's so important. So I just wanted to come by and just let out the secret about the butt facial.
Yeah, no, I like the butt facial. And so,
First time I've heard about that.
no, first time I heard about it too.
Yeah.
But the thing is with the butt facial, so after you've had it, then how do you maintain that for until the next treatment?
Well, see, what you want to do, the butt is not always exposed like the face, you know, the face is. And so definitely the face is once a month. But the butt, you come in, you get it corrected, you get it treated, and you try to prevent this. You don't want to, it doesn't necessarily have to happen. It's not like regular acne. So it's according to the condition what caused it. You want to prevent that from occurring again. So like I say, you know, changing from the gym early and not just sitting there, allowing the clothes to sit in there. And then if you know you're hairy, you know, try
How
to
about waxes?
stay cool.
But is waxing recommended?
You can, definitely, because we have some persons with heavy hairs, definitely. And, you know, I wax that area as well.
So you do a, hold on, wait, so you wax. You do a nice cleanup then of the whole, of that entire area, including the butt.
Yeah,
that kind of
definitely. We do it on the butt and the back, because you have some persons, even, well, men, they come for their back to be waxed, their chest to be waxed, because when they're wearing their, you know, their T-shirt sort of material, they don't want this big old puff on the chest or on the back, or it's coming up on the, yeah, so definitely we wax. We wax the back, chest, and then for the ladies who, they want the butt to look really nice.
Right. Yeah. So wow. So I like that. It's intentional, and we will say everything here is intentional. Health,
always,
wellness, all of it. And so we discover that, you know, there are things you can do to look as flawless as you possibly can look.
Definitely. And the same way you're having those pigmentation from breakouts on the face, that occurs on the butt. So that's why it's important to get those impurities out. Sometimes you have to lance the pimple so that you can get the impurities out, because if it doesn't come out, it wouldn't heal. It, like I said, it will dry in there with that lump, and it heals the same way. So therefore you don't have that smooth texture.
Oh, wow.
So you definitely...
Very interesting. Lakira, what is your contact information and where are you located?
Okay, the Spa of Eden is located on St. Albans Drive and West Bay Street on the corner. And our phone contact is 322-7785. You can also hit us up on Facebook, the Spa of Eden at Pashon on Facebook, or you can put in Spa of Eden 242. Our website is spaofeden242.com.
Okay, this information was really nice today. Yes, because, you know, you see some women walking around and you wonder, but not knowing that they work at it, just like the way they are sticklers for that monthly facial, they are sticklers for that quarterly butt facial.
Yeah.
How about that, Dr. Swan?
And now they know there's a solution. Some persons just don't know.
No, there is a solution. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about obesity in children and how that looks and what the kids need to be eating and that kind of thing, and what the lunch bags need to look like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that there needs to be lunch bags to begin with versus, here, go buy this. Go do whatever. Stay exactly where you are. We're going to take a break and come back with more of the conversation after this.
At Miden's Wholesale, the concept is simple. The more you buy, the...
Welcome to the best of sports world.
More Bahamians are being encouraged to get involved in fishing and farming in an overall view of growing our agriculture industry, putting the Bahamas in a better position to not only feed ourselves, but create a sustainable food chain of produce for export. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer. In the next episode of Agriculture Now, we'll explore the potential of the fisheries sector. Join me on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Agriculture Now. That's Agriculture Now on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
Meanwhile, Bahamian Shenique Miller-Ubu broke a 16-year-old Commonwealth Games record as she clinched gold in the women's 200 meters final.
Let's talk about love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues. This show will take you there, yeah. Taking it step by step, living your best life yet. Getting stronger and living longer. Let's figure out the questions for ya. I need a little conversation. You need a little conversation. When you need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation.
Welcome back to the conversation, everybody. By the way, I want to let you all know, for those of you wondering, Spa of Eden 322-7785. Yeah, schedule your beauty appointment. I tell you, it's beauty is intentional, like everything else, weight loss, etc. I tell you, I posted something today talking about my 19-month journey. That's right, 19 months of making better decisions. Not always maybe the best, but better decisions. Being committed to a healthy lifestyle, a fitness lifestyle, and you know, and all of it. And it comes with a whole number of things, and so just be intentional about it all. I spoke to a group of ladies on Saturday telling them that self-love is a part of it. Self-love and affirmations and all that stuff, really, really super. Tomorrow on the conversation, my special guest, along with her sister and her mom, Shenique Miller. That's right. Shenique is in the front page of the Tribune today, and people are commending her for such an incredible thing that she went to an area, you know, that many would see as downtrodden in the Camp Road area for the Camp Road Challenge. I need to ask her about that and how these children beat her. Boy, we got some real world champions in Camp Road, because I tell you, I see them in front of Shenique, Doc. I don't know.
That's exciting.
Yeah, you know, imagine what a treat that was for them.
Yeah, yes.
An awesome that was a treat, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that she was so generous, she would have let you in just for yesterday.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, she's trying so hard.
I just want her legs. That's all.
Her body.
I changed the whole thing.
Her body is everything. But yeah, we're gonna have her tomorrow, and she's gonna stop by. She's been having an incredible season, several seasons, in fact. Right. Really doing very well. We're so proud of her. World athlete, Olympic medalist, gold medalist, and just super. Just really, really respected on the world stage, and we are so proud of her here at home. And so she's going to stop by and talk about everything, including married life. How does that aid and further bolster her performance on the track? With just everything. We're going to talk about her and talk with her and her sister and her mom. So that's tomorrow. And so welcome to the conversation, Shay King, Tanya McFall, and Dr. Philip Swan. Dr. Swan is the head of the Healthy Bahamas Coalition in the Ministry of Health. Dr. Swan, how is your work going? I know that you are pushing health on a number of angles and aspects, not just, you know, eating healthy, losing weight, which is most important with the obesity rate in the country. But how is your work going?
Well, the Healthy Bahamas Coalition, that work is again something that's ongoing, and we try to make a impression on the general population and as to what it is we need to be doing to try to encourage a healthier lifestyle, adopt a healthier lifestyle. And I'm glad we're here to talk today again about this obesity in children. Now school has started. We need to address what it is we are feeding our children or allowing them to eat on a daily basis.
Tanya, last week the suicide prevention was good. That's what you do. You work with the PAHO angle of the Healthy Bahamas Coalition, with the Healthy Bahamas Coalition outright by itself. You've been really, really prominent with getting this message out as well.
Well, yeah, and I wanted to find out. Unfortunately, I missed the event last week, but I heard it was so impactful.
It was very impactful. The theater, it was in one of the bigger theaters there at Galleria Cinemas, and the theater was full. People were very interested. It was a wonderful movie that really caused you to think, and it caused you to look at mental health in a different way. Mental health is all of our business, and we each are to also take ownership and charge of, and not be afraid of talking about our own individual mental health with a professional, with a trusted person. And yeah, it was super.
That's really extraordinary, and we know that this is also prostate cancer month. There's so many other initiatives that are happening, but it's important that we focus on the children. When we look at the year 1975, less than 1% of the world's population, and the children, less than 1% of the world population then were obese. Right.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1% back in 1975, and when we look in 2016, we have more between the ages of 5 and 19. We have more than 100 million persons that are obese. So right now, more than 25% of the world's population, children and younger persons, are obese. So we know that obesity in our country and in our world is something that we need to take serious note of. If not, there's going to be so many health issues that we're going to have to deal with in the future, and we're not certain if we can afford that in our budget.
We know we can't afford it. We can't afford it now.
Right, exactly.
That is true.
It's a strain now.
Challenges, right. And when we started this conversation, 2 or 3 years ago, we mentioned this whole thing about our children getting larger and how it's like a tsunami coming down against us, because we have to try to stem that tide. Because right now we have adults who are, again, 4 and 5 persons who are overweight or obese, and about 2 and 3, 2 and 5 children are either overweight or obese as well. And so we need to figure out how do we cap it, and then get it to come down. And it's going to be intentional. As I mentioned intentional earlier about the whole external of the individual. You also need to look at how the society looks, and how we can make that society look healthier. Just look healthier and be healthier as well. But one of the things we also need to be careful of is this notion or this popular trend that's going about the place now, and it's shaming persons because of their size and thinking that that's going to help the argument.
Shay, it's very interesting. Tanya mentioned about the obesity rate, etc. We know also, though, that it has to be, while shaming is not accepted and encouraged, we want this message to be taken very seriously because of the effects that it has on families, communities, countries, individuals.
Yeah, it is, Shenique, a country is developing dilemma when we look at childhood obesity. And just like Tanya said, with some of the numbers, I actually have a complete profile here from the Bahamas Medical Association, a conference that was done in 2015, really breaking down those numbers to see from 1970 to up to 2015 how we have grown over the years. This dilemma, particularly in our children, has grown not to our benefit, but not just here in the Bahamas, but a worldwide epidemic and a dilemma that we're approaching. And we have to really consider seriously looking at our children obesity as a separate entity outside of putting it as a global approach.
What are some of the numbers that you saw that disturbed you?
Oh, Shenique, there was a category of children referring to under 5 category. And the first number that I saw was back in 1980 to 2008, which was a 10-year span, that children under 5, that's right, 5 years old, at that particular time, there was a difference between 1980 and 2008. There was a 6% increase in children under 5 in obesity rate.
Children.
That's a 28-year.
Yeah.
Over 28-year period.
Yes, over a 10-year period, a 6% increase. Children under 5. That was really disturbing to me. I mean, a lot of the numbers are, but when you think of children under 5, the only thing I think of is my grandparents. Feed that child porridge, give them flour. You know, they need it anyhow. You know, how we tend to tie in overfeeding and forcing or think that children have to eat so much more, or a food that was not necessarily designed for a 5-year-old digestive system. Unfortunately, I think even being a part of that myself, not a contributor but a receiver, I think we've got it wrong when it comes to what we're feeding our infants. I think we really got it wrong because we're feeding them foods really that were not designed for their digestive palate. We're feeding them what we refer to as cook or heavy foods too soon, and I think that's a major contribution to that
So first of all, let's quantify the
time period
of an infant, and then what are we feeding? Because you know sometimes the minute they look at your plate and try to go like this, you figure, well, you need to mass them up and give it to them.
Shenique, one of the things I can tell you from my personal experience, I breastfed all the way up to 4, one of my daughters, and that was, even then, it wasn't considered normal, and I was told by many of my elders that, you know, that's too long to be breastfeeding. The child isn't getting enough nutrition. I need to feed them more table-ready foods. I need to feed them more cooked foods. And so I was really shunned for that personal experience. But I can tell you from what I see today, I don't know, Dr. Strong and Tana, you guys can definitely jump in here. You know, what I see today is I see a 1-year-old drinking soda. I see a 2-year-old eating chicken with rice. That definitely is contributing to this 10-year span.
Shay, you really cutting into the Bahamian lifestyle.
Yes,
so what do you mean a 2-year-old eating chicken and rice? What some Bahamian mother will say, well, what she...
How dare she?
This is only shaking. This is my opinion. I don't think...
chicken and rice, what you mean?
Chicken and rice, yeah. In my opinion, Shenique, I really don't think that our digestive system as a 2-year-old, first of all, they cannot masticate their food properly. It takes a certain time of mastication, chewing that food in order for it to digest and sit there. It's a whole complex science behind that. A 2-year-old does not fully understand that. And when they're just learning how to hold a spoon, all of these factors play a role. This is not food that is ready, available for a 2-year-old to be consuming. Not in my opinion.
And the heavy sugary drinks. You mentioned the sodas, and it's so much more. I mean, just the heavy sugary drinks just to pacify them oftentimes.
And in addition to the food, Shenique, we are also guilty of overfeeding our infant children, our adolescents, because the portion size that we are as parents responsible for. So we play a major role in the contribution of childhood obesity as parents and guardians, Shenique.
And that's true. Because even when you talk, I even think about the amount of processed foods that we give our kids.
Right.
Look at the amount of spaghettis that you find on the shelves and in the children's bags when they go to school. All of these things, because they're high in salt. We don't think about the salt content in some of these the spaghettis. And we oftentimes, you mentioned the sodas. A lot of these quote-unquote juice for kids, they only have 5% or 0% of fruit juice in it. So they're high in sugar-sweetened beverages on the increase, on the rise in our younger kids.
I tell you, I had an orange juice when I was sick a couple of weeks ago. Let me say sick. When I was, a few weeks ago. Under the weather a couple of weeks ago. I had an orange juice, 16 ounces. First time in about 2 years. So you figure you want the vitamin C, you want to put the halibut in there, whatever. So I'm drinking this like, boy, this is mighty sweet. Wow. When I looked around, because I hadn't bought orange juice in over 2 years.
Right.
When I looked at that,
percentage of
34 grams of sugar.
Wow.
34.
How much percent juice?
Let's say real juice, 100%.
See, we have to be careful too. What I'm noticing in drinks, you would say the 100% on the front, but the 100% is really saying 100% of vitamin C.
Yes,
and it's not
the
100% juice.
Right.
So that's what I've been noticing with some of the beverage manufacturers.
So when you read that label, it says at the top of it what percentage juice is in it. But getting back to the breastfeeding argument or discussion, and it's really a discussion because World Breastfeeding Week was just last month, and it's a global observation and encouragement of persons to breastfeed. I think it's the first week in August. And one of the things that's pushing, and I bring it up because it actually is a nutrition or weight managing concept.
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding. And we're trying to get persons who are able to, not who are able to, but persons who don't have contraindications to breastfeed their child for at least 6 months exclusively. And so it's a challenge to do that. So you can imagine. So I can imagine what you're talking about, and all of this because parents go back to work early, the stress levels are higher. Or mothers go back to work early rather. The stress levels are higher, and mostly in the Western societies and the West and some of the Scandinavian countries, you're off for 2 years with your child on maternity leave. You know, so when we start thinking about countries, this is an aside point. We tend to pick things out of countries and say, well, in this country they do this, and in this country they do that, and where it fits us. But in Finland, you're off for 2 years for maternity leave, and your spouse is off for about 6 months, and the state covers you during that time period. So they don't talk about the children, and then they start school when they're good and ready around about 6 or 7 or 8.
Wow.
And they're talking about teachers who have all these
master's
master's
And it's a promotion,
degree.
and I like that too because it's a promotion of family.
It's a
so
then
healthy lifestyles can't help but develop and be introduced to this child in their formative years. So by the time they're 6 or 7, that's instilled in them. You know? Like in Italy, for example, healthy, warm lunches that the parents are involved with that's served at school for their kids is a norm.
Yes.
And that's one of the things I've been trying to I guess, get across and having discussions with education about. Because not only does it help us to control the level of nutrition or assure the level of nutrition that our children get, but, you know, it also helps us to better control finances.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
if parents aren't threatened with, or, you know, not threatened, but feel compelled to give their child $10, $15 a day for lunch, instead of, let's pay into this fund where we can subsidize the lunch, the warm, healthy lunch for this child. So what you do, a couple of things. The child is getting food for those children who don't go to school because they don't have lunch. It's there already, lunch and breakfast, I would say. And you'll make sure that these children have better attendance at school because you're providing them with a warm meal. So you're making this investment in your future by making sure your children are taken care of, at least from a nutrition component in your school. And then the other component is the child that's going to school, the 5-year-old, the 7-year-old, the 10-year-old that's walking to school long distance with this money in their hand, a target. A target for bullies and other persons, as well as a target to go buy liquor, to buy alcohol, to buy rum, to buy, you know, drugs. So it's all of these things we're not considering holistically. How can we improve the environment in which our children are reared or grown up in, like you can say, so that they are healthier in terms of learning how to make healthier options, as well as you're encouraging them by restricting their ability to make unwise choices. Because again, the 10-year-old doesn't know what to do with $20 besides buy candy.
And when you think too, Shenique, about environment, when you look at a child is 4 times more likely to become overweight if they are living in a household with overweight adults. And now think of almost 80% of our population being overweight. Where does that leave your child? They're 4 times more likely to become overweight if they're in the environment.
They're eating of the same pot and learning the same
concepts.
And also the portion sizes are large, as I mentioned. You know,
it's ridiculous.
I remember when we were growing up, or when I was growing up a couple of years ago, you would notice that
how many years?
Some parents would look at their children like mini-me's. And they're overweight. And you're like, but pause, mommy, pause, daddy. When you were that child's age, you was not that size. So you can't make your child look like you now by starting them off on the wrong track because of it. And again, the extended family is good to an extent because it's a social support is there. But one of the challenges you have with this extended family, especially if it's not cohabiting in the same home, is that you have a set of parents or set of grandparents that are picking up the children and taking them to McDonald's or whatever after school, or even taking them home and feeding them, saying, this child don't look healthy, I need to feed this child.
That's true.
And then this child, now mother comes home, pick up this child, take home, and she doesn't know you just feed this child a bunch of food. So she now knows that I got to fix something for the children. And she fixes a meal. So the child is having 2 solid meals after school.
Yes.
2 solid meals after school between 3 and 8. 2 solid meals.
Wow.
And again, they're not small sizes. Because, you know, this child needs lunchtime.
Mind them grandparents.
Make sure.
Even if the child eats, the serving sizes are just so huge.
Wow. And so sometimes you have to figure out, you have to look at your children and say, you know what? if you're hungry, you can ask me for food.
Yes.
And then I will give you something light.
Right.
Because you're going to bed in an hour's time. So you'll get something light.
And they would ask, and Shenique, let me
what
tell
light
you.
is. That's another thing.
Well, as light as a sandwich.
Understanding what light is.
Sandwich, a yogurt.
But guess what, Shenique?
Nothing with rice in it.
Fruit. That's true. That will be considered light. One of the biggest contributors when you look at the totality of why children, the obesity rate is increasing in children is snacking.
Snacking.
Snacking. That is the biggest.
Aside from snacks, rather.
Yeah. Well, just snacking. Period. Really, because
you should have that. You should have that sort of fasting window.
Because see what happens, right? Snacking period. They have it coupled really because what happens is just like Dr. Swan said. Even having those 2 big meals, it's one thing. But when you're having those 2 big meals and still snacking, so even if a child is snacking, right? So when they look at, of course, the type of snacks, yes, but more and so snacking. Because the children are eating breakfast, they're snacking at school, they're having lunch, then they're snacking, and then grandparents are giving them 2 big meals. And so the snacking in between those meals contribute to one of the major part or role for childhood obesity.
And you know, even adult obesity, like snacking, we have learned, it's just not advisable.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Drink. If you drink as much as you, well, the right things, but drink as much as you want in between meals.
Water.
Absolutely.
So I just want to be careful that I didn't start a training with bashing grandparents. Grandparents are lovely, they're valuable to us, and they play a good role. But it's all about communicating, having a proper form of communication with those grandparents to ensure that you know what they have fed the child and what the child should now be getting afterwards.
So then parents and grandparents, what they should do or we should do is that we should, like you said, communicating, have some kind of strategy.
Correct.
But if when you pick up little Johnny at 3 o'clock, give them something light, or no, let's give them something a little heavier and then later have the snack.
We all talk about these things as it's so easy, but they're different.
No, it's not easy.
The different relationships, the economics, and then personal relationships.
Yes. Definitely.
It's Johnny, but it's Johnny's mommy that's Johnny's daddy's mommy that's picking up him from school, and Johnny's mommy that's picking him up from Grammy afterwards, and they don't talk because Johnny and mommy and daddy ain't together.
Right.
So we have to find the person, find that person, the contact person.
But these are the realities.
They are.
It is.
And they all are trying to do the best for Johnny.
But I like what you said, Dr.
But we have to make sure that at some point in time we try to bury the hatchet, so to speak, so we're taking care of this child, not just his mental state, but also his health and his nutrition.
Right. And also, too, I like what Dr. Swan said, too. Also, communicate with the child. Ask, let me know if you're hungry or not. Because children, let me tell you, when it comes to play and movement time, children are more likely to want to play than to say that they're hungry if they're not really hungry. So it's just really us thinking that, child, I need to feed the child because they ain't eating 4 hours. But that child really ain't thinking about food. They're more likely to be thirsty than to be hungry. And so it's, even if you can't communicate with the other guardians, communicate with the child.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we come back, I want to know what the Healthy Bahamas Coalition, Dr. Swan, Shay, even Tanya, what the Healthy Bahamas Coalition is doing now to kind of, I don't know, somehow bridge the gap between schools and what this whole national initiative is. We've heard the stats about childhood obesity and how it's increased and increasing in the Bahamas. Scary, because to see, especially, and you as a doctor, you know, to see these children coming up with pre-this and pre-that, some of them
at early ages,
already onset, I guess. But what can be done? You know, what can be done? And maybe we could start before we go to the break, because we have a break in another minute and a half. What is that relationship with schools, with teachers? Because I know you reach out across the divide, like to everybody.
Right.
But schools, what is that to be able to begin getting this message across? And is there maybe a nutritionist assigned to schools?
Well, there isn't a nutritionist assigned specifically to schools, but we have the opportunity for them to reach out to us as we need to. And we have spoken to the Health and Family Life team at the schools to try to ensure that the curriculum includes the level of nutrition education that it needs to have. The Healthy Bahamas Coalition is a little silent when it comes to childhood obesity, because the ministry is doing a lot in that area. And one of the things that we're trying to elevate in partnership with the Ministry and Department of Education is the school tuck shop standards and vending standards, so the persons are bringing and having healthy foods to eat. In addition to that, there is a group out of the Kansas Society called Halt Healthy Lifestyles Teams that's attached to the Healthy Caribbean Coalition. And what they are doing and what they have done for the last year is try to elevate the importance of us banning sugar-sweetened beverages in schools. And so you talk about Waterful Wednesdays to try to get schools to get on board to only have water available for them to drink on Wednesdays. And a number of schools that have taken out their initiatives. And that is all against the backdrop of you gain weight when your calorie intake exceeds your calorie output. And sugary sweetened beverages like your soda, your fruit juices, are all empty calories. They serve no nutritious value, and you do not need them. Especially as children, you do not need them. In fact, a can of soda has more sugar in it than a child should have in a day.
Wow.
And so that's a can of soda.
So imagine that one can.
Drinking a bottle of soda, which is 2.5 a can. So the reality is you have to be more again, go back to this word, intentional, about what it is that we're doing in the school systems and how we work along with teachers, work along with principals, and I guess guidance counselors in this case, and parents to understand what is the risk that we're putting our children at when we feed them, when we overfeed them, so to speak. And just take stock of the level and the amount of food that you feed your child. And, you know,
and don't be afraid of that lunch bag word. It looks like that went out of style some time ago.
And we are scarred with food as our generation, not you. Our generation is scarred with food. We grew up, but we didn't have enough food. We felt we didn't have enough food. And so when we feed our children, we put as much food in that plate as we think we should get, or we should have gotten when we were that age, as opposed to, you know what, was very useful? Buy yourself a $5 measuring cup set. And we're giving your child rice, a quarter cup of rice. And you measure that and see exactly how much that is. And you'll be surprised, but that's all that child's supposed to get.
And you know what? And your stomach and your taste buds. Thank you. Your stomach, your taste buds, your eyesight, everything adjusts to that measurement.
Exactly. And it's important that you take these approaches to try to control how much you're giving your children. Because portion control, to say, is don't give a child a 5-year-old a whole leg quarter. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. Shenique, this stats I just want you to say quickly. This is the Bahamas Youth Health Survey, and this survey was done 10 years ago. Well, the initial survey was done 20 years ago, and at that time, this is the emotional component and how obesity affects adolescents and children. Only 28% of the youth at that time felt that they needed to lose weight and how it made them feel not happy. And this was 28% some 20 years ago. Today, that percentage has gone up to 70% of these adolescents that are overweight or obese feel that they need to lose weight and are not happy about their weight, and feel also that their weight is affecting their behavior and interaction with their peers in school. 70%.
That's harsh.
And it's harsh, but I mean, we have to read, we have to take it at face value and figure out, well, that's deep, a little dig a little deeper. You know, we spoke last week about suicide and depression, and these are some of the things that feed into that. And we have to
because then there's bullying.
All of these things are linked.
We're going to take a break right now and come back with some final moments here on The Conversation. Don't go anywhere. This is Wealthy Wellness Wednesday here on The Conversation. Stay close.
Are you drowning in a sea?
I have children, I do, and a wife, and it's kind of cool. You know, I see them like every day. You know, because they got to come downstairs. So
the best part about being married is single people. Single people always got to let you know how single they is. They can't just be single. Single people got to stop everything. Let me tell you something. I am single. I come and go as I please. I got to call nobody. I got to check in. This is my house, my car. I am single.
Out of nowhere, right? You get them father-son moments. It's all powerful. You feel like, my son he's only 4. Looked at me, he said, "Dad, I want to be a doctor." Yes. Right? Then he said, or a dinosaur.
Coming to you from Hollywood, almost live. It's Comics Unleashed. Hot chocolate with your host, Byron Allen.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
As a young man at the University of the Bahamas, I have dreams, goals, and ambitions just like everyone else. My wheelchair does not limit me. And neither does my university.
We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I'll like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up.
Brought to you by UBTV and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
What amazing idea to go into the communities and into our world and into our country and into the homes of people and into the lives of outstanding and extraordinary people all over the country. I think that telling those stories again, helps us to connect to the notion of okay, how can I live a better life? How can I be better? This is how this person achieved it. Where can I find common ground so that my life can match up as well? And so Ordinary People is an amazing, amazing concept, and I'm excited to be a part of the Ordinary People family.
Did you bring the thing?
What thing?
Protection.
Come on, man. You really want to ruin the moment with that?
I actually think it will help the moment. No worries. Now we can continue. Next time, step your game up.
Let me say the last part twice. Everything. Welcome back to the conversation, everybody. Today we're talking about childhood obesity and talking about the relationship. You know, while the Healthy Bahamas Coalition is working with schools to assist in terms of lunch vendors and with the offerings and that kind of thing, Shay, how is Stapleton? How are they coming on with their program?
Oh, wonderful, Shenique. You know, it makes me so happy when I talk about the Stapleton School and Principal Monker. What a great job they're doing. Shenique, while it may be a small role, I see from the time I've been working with the Stapleton School, the Be a Healthier You campaign from 2015 to today, I've seen these children at the Stapleton School, I call them my children, transform to eating no vegetables to eating more vegetables to still at the Stapleton School, we honor the Wednesday as a part of their water day. They're still doing that. The Stapleton School has become a soda-free zone. They're moving every Monday, but not just moving, but moving as a school. When you would have the traditional Monday morning assembly, they have Monday morning movements at the Stapleton School. I've also embarked for the past 2 years of teaching blending and raw food techniques to the graduating students from the Stapleton School, and hoping that we will have our inaugural and first ever blend off with the schools throughout the Bahamas, and of course the Stapleton School being the pilot and the pioneer school. Shenique, let me tell you, I always think when it comes to anything proactive, particularly nutrition, health, and eating and movement, I think if you target the children, this is always a way to maintain and sustain the country moving forward, because it is a dilemma whether it's quiet or not when it comes to childhood obesity. And if you don't pay close attention to into it, Shenique, before you know it, it's just going to be in your face. And I'm happy to continue to do my small part. Shenique, this year I have reached out to many organizations, and hopefully this will all come to fruition in a very short time to start to partner with me to get more done, because it is really a task to be able to do it just as a small community partner and my volunteers. But I can tell you from 2015 to today, we've seen significant impact, change in the children's behavior, their self-esteem, and just their overall presence in being introduced into living a healthier lifestyle and becoming proactive in this campaign. So I'm just so happy to be continuing to be a part of it. And the Stapleton School has expanded the backyard farming and using the backyard farming to also give back and sell at a discounted rate to community to continue to grow, to grow and to build this campaign. So the Stapleton School, the teachers, the faculty, the principal, listen, they're all on board and always excited to continue this project.
Which is super.
That's awesome. On Saturday past to End Caribbean Wellness Week was the fun run and walk. And we were, just as you were excited with the kids, we had persons of all ages, all sizes participating. We did some belly dancing with Cyan.
Oh, nice, yeah.
You know that's all we like, right? Some soca aerobics. Erin Brown, Erin Brown Connects. She did the modified versions of exercise for persons with disabilities.
Wow, awesome.
There was some urban karate, some athletic circuits. So everybody had an opportunity. We concluded with some meditation. The kids seemed to have more fun with the ropes than anything else. I was so proud of them. I stood behind the camera, so I don't have to do it. But I was so proud of them.
But I think that speaks to some of the things that we would like to see more in communities.
Yes, community building.
Each community has one or two persons that parade some fitness component, and if they can just donate an hour a week or 2 hours a week of their time to the community park and just have open sessions for persons to go and practice and all exercise and just be introduced to healthier lifestyles and healthy activities, I think we'll be a long way in getting to where we need to be in terms of getting and being a more fit nation. Now we have to understand the difference between fit and slim. But we try to get fit first. And then once that fitness gets there, then we're able to move along to the other part of losing the weight.
Slimming in anyway. Fitness is in.
And these are some of the important reasons why we have to get the kids involved. So even with the physical activity, get them away from the iPads and the sedentary lifestyle. We need to get everyone more involved. Let them take the kids out to bowl. Maybe one day when you come home from work, you want to have a little fun with the kids, put on some music and just start dancing for no reason.
Zumba.
Some Zumba, something. If you like your soca, whatever music you like, get kids involved. Chunkanu, bowling, go bowling. That's another opportunity. Physical activity is not confined just to sports. There's so many different ways that we could get creative. And even you talked about earlier getting kids more involved with the food aspect. Get kids involved with making the smoothies.
In the kitchen.
Last week I did some black rice with my niece. And I was so proud. Listen, I was too proud of myself. And these are so many things that we can do. We will be the healthiest little nation ever.
Awesome.
Listen, I thank you all so much. Of course, we had an abbreviated session today because it was a split show today. But hey, the message is still very important, still very poignant, and that is get your kid healthy. Be very intentional about what's in there on their plates, what's in the lunch bag, and also what they're eating while at school as best as you can. We're gonna reconvene next week.
Yes.
With another great healthy topic. We look forward to that. Meantime, don't forget tomorrow my special guest Shenique Miller will be here with her sister and her mom and whoever else shows up, right? But hey, meantime, we're gonna end today's show. Thank you very much, BPL Union, who was here for the first hour. Don't go anywhere, everybody. By the way, today's show brought to you by Ministry of Finance, Almighty Computers, Mighty's Wholesale, S&M Uniforms, Money Managers, GM Appliances, Parv Eden, and Club One Fitness Center. The news at 6 is straight ahead.